Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the Su-11, a currently Tier 5 7.0 BR jet fighter that exists as a premium vehicle for the Russian Air Force's tech tree. In this video, I'll be going over everything that you need to know about it, including its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses. I'll give some scores in several key areas, and then I'll give my final recommendation on if this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. As always, please subscribe if you like more content like this, as that would make you way overpowered, unlike the Su-11, cough cough. But without further ado, let's get into the video. That said, let's put its stats here on the side of the screen. Important stats to note are its speed, rate of climb, and turn time. Now with that out of the way, let's get into how it plays. Now imagine the perfect fighter that can climb well, turn well, has powerful cannons, and can also attack ground vehicles, if need be. Well, the Su-11 is not quite perfect, but it is fairly close to that description. At 7.0 BR, or even if it goes to 7.3 BR, the Su-11 will still outclimb, outgun, and outturn nearly every plane that it will typically face in a match. While down tiers are exceedingly rare, this plane still performs very well in mild or even full up tiers, if you can take advantage of its great handling and acceleration. You can pretty much play this plane any way that you'd like, though it is most effective, in my experience thus far, when you climb to 2,000 to 3,000 meters at the beginning of a match, level out, and then either boom and zoom against enemies below you, or take out enemies foolish enough to think that they can dive in on you without facing consequences. Regardless, imagine a lighter flying Me-262 with still devastating cannons, much better performance, and somehow the same BR. That's the Su-11, and because it combines all of those traits, it can easily do anything that you'd like and do it well. In regards to air battles, flaps are also excellent on this plane and improve already excellent handling all the way up through around 560 kilometers per hour, which makes this plane even more impressive. With that said, both surprisingly and unsurprisingly, this plane can also perform decently in a close air support role. You have the option to carry either up to two 250 kilogram bombs or a single 500 kilogram bomb, the latter of which has more explosive filler than the two 250 kilogram bombs combined. This, when combined with its fairly good cannons, can make you very effective in a combination close air support / air cover role in ground RB. Your 37mm cannon can pen through upwards of 49mm of armor, while the 23mm cannons can go through upwards of 32mm of armor, which means that you can disable vehicles by shooting their engine decks, kill crew occasionally by shooting through the turret roof, or you can just obliterate lightly armored and unarmored vehicles. While the close air support role is not what this plane was meant for, and while you will still get a good amount of assists rather than outright kills due to your lack of bombs and total ammunition count, it still performs very well for those that like a combined multi-role sort of vehicle. Now with that said, let's get into its strengths and weaknesses. And first, for its strengths, it has excellent performance overall. Between its handling, climb rate, acceleration, and top speed, this plane is likely the best performing plane at around 7.0 BR. Second, it has very hard hitting cannons that can destroy aircraft easily in a single hit, and can also severely damage or destroy enemy ground vehicles. For its third strength, it can carry up to either two 250 kilogram bombs or one 500 kilogram bomb, both of which are fairly good for close air support and will also help to give extra points in air RB if you feel like you need that. Fourth, it has very strong flaps that can be deployed up to around 560 kilometers per hour near sea level. For its fifth strength, it can take damage fairly well, at least if an engine does not catch fire. Sixth, it has excellent energy retention, especially at lower speeds. And finally, it has very good RP and SL bonuses. And now for its weaknesses. Its engines are a bit susceptible to catching fire even with a single hit. That said, engines also overheat very quickly when at 100% throttle, and even a bit at 99% throttle, though 98% throttle is typically fine. Third, it has relatively low ammo stores, especially for the 37mm cannon. Fourth, it has low shell velocity, which means that aiming can be difficult, and this is especially so on the 37mm cannon. Beyond this, it has poor brakes, which makes landing on short runways difficult. Now with all that out of the way, let's get into its scores. For dogfighting, I give the Su-11 a 9.5 out of 10. This plane is nearly perfect for dogfighting, especially at 7.0 BR. even if it were to be at 7.3 BR, it would still be at least a 9 out of 10 in this category. Ultimately, between the very good acceleration, rate of climb, handling, and powerful cannons, this plane is nearly flawless in air-to-air fights, even in full up tiers. The only thing that I could take away points for are its low ammo count and rudder occasionally making fine movements and thus aiming a little bit tricky. Otherwise, this is a gunfighter's dream. In my first match ever with the Su-11, I scored 5 kills with it. It is easy to learn. Now for close air support, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. While this plane can be quite effective in the close air support role, it should really be used in ground RB in a hybrid role, attacking both preferably lightly armored ground targets and, when possible, aircraft. By doing so, you will take full advantage of this plane's strengths. Your 500 kilogram bomb will be sufficient to kill mostly all ground vehicles, and sometimes even get a double kill, while your cannons can severely damage tanks. It suffers, however, due to a lack of total ammunition, lack of higher penning ammunition, and the lack of any sort of anti-gren ordnance aside from a single 500 kilogram bomb or two 250 kilogram bombs that are a bit weaker than the single 500 kilogram bomb. While you can and will get kills quite often against ground targets, the Su-11 isn't quite built for that role, and it shows. Again, its use in ground RB is perfectly fine, but it works best when acting as an opportunistic provider of air cover. Now overall, I give the Su-11 an 8.5 out of 10. This plane is clearly geared towards air RB, and because that is its main role, I weight its performance in dogfighting more heavily than its close air support performance. Regardless, this plane can do both things, with the ability to dogfight being essentially unparalleled. It would be one thing if the Su-11 could not perform in a close air support role at all, but it can still do fairly well in that regard as well, making this plane feel OP in almost every sense of the word. Even at 7.3 BR, I'd still probably give the Su-11 an 8 out of 10 overall. It is that good. This may well be the best overall score I've ever given for any plane. Now with all that said, it's now time for my final recommendation. If you couldn't guess by now, the Su-11 feels a bit strong for its BR, and even the next BR above it. While it isn't exactly perfect, this feels about as close to a pay-to-win plane as any could ever feel in War Thunder. It is substantially better than the Me-262 in every single way outside of ammo capacity, and is still the same BR. Heck, even its lesser sibling, the Su-9, is still the same BR as the Su-11. Yes, the Su-11 still takes skill to play, but is one of those planes that can elevate even a mediocre player into having a few great matches. It is so easy to fly and feels like it does so much of the work for you that it feels like you're playing air battles with an easy button. While you are certainly not guaranteed to do well in this plane or even get kills, it is substantially easier to do well with this plane than nearly any other plane in all of War Thunder, premium or otherwise. For those reasons, I fully recommend the Su-11 and give it my Tankenstein seal of approval. This plane is one of the must-have premium planes, and as a tier 5 plane with great RP and SL bonuses, it will allow you to grind the Russian air tech tree through all but the highest vehicles with ease. That said, thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and comment to let me know what you thought of this video and what you think about the Su-11. I read your comments and they all matter to me. Either way, thanks again, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.